Hey everyone, this is Daniel from Phone Arena with a video review of the Samsung Galaxy Ace 3, Samsung's lower mid-range champion, the Galaxy Ace line. Just got a third generation entrant with the aptly named Ace 3 here. It is not a huge upgrade over the predecessor, as is the habit with Samsung's annual updates lately, and the phone mainly got a 0.2 inches screen bump and a tad faster processor. Another ace up its sleeve is that the Ace 3 runs the newest Android 4.2 and is splattered with the newest TouchWiz Nature UX from Samsung. Is this enough to warrant the upgrade or make you choose it before the sea of Android mid-rangers out there? Well, let's see. Molded in the tried and true chubby plastic traditions of Samsung, the Ace 3 hasn't gotten much prettier in this third iteration than the previous two. We have the LTE version for review, which is slightly thicker and heavier than the 9.8mm 3G version. The typical soapy shape with tapered sides and metal-like rim around the front panel do look decent though. And the dark blue pattern plastic here on the back is a nice change from Samsung's glossy black covers of yesteryear. The phone has become slightly taller compared to the Ace 2 to accommodate the larger screen, but the side bezels have shrunk and the width has been kept almost identical, so the phone is very easy to hold and operate with one hand as well. The volume rocker here on the left and the power lock key at the right are thin but not uncomfortably so they're very easy to feel and press with good tactile feedback, as is the large physical home key underneath the display here. As for the display, we get a 4-inch LCD panel with the Galaxy Ace 3, which sports 480 by 800 pixels of resolution, ringing in a decent for this class 233 ppi pixel density. The screen sports good color representation and very nice viewing angles, as you can see. The panel's brightness is not very high though, and its reflectivity is about average, meaning that outside under direct sunlight you'll have trouble telling what's going on even at maximum luminance. Let's have a look at the interface on this display now. Samsung's latest TouchWiz Nature UX is painted over Android 4.2 on the Galaxy Ace 3, so you pretty much know what to expect, as all the usual widgets and settings are present. From the bells and whistles that come with the flagship S4, for example, here we only have the S-Travel in partnership with TripAdvisor, Smart Stay and the S-Translator applications. The interface doesn't sport all the fancy transparencies and animations that the more powerful handsets from Samsung are able to display, and this, coupled with the run-of-the-mill resolution of the display, make the UI feel a bit dated. Let's have a look at the on-screen keyboard. As you can see, although it comes with word prediction and over 50 different input languages to pick from, it is not a stellar typing experience because of the squished key layout and the large gaps between the keys on this fairly modest 4-inch display. Let's run a quick quadrant benchmark test. We have a 1 GHz dual-core processor on the 3G version of the Ace 3, which is modest for today's standards. And the LTE variants we have here kicks it up a notch to 1.2 GHz dual-core CPU with a PowerVR SGX 544 GPU. The handset runs Android 4.2 Jelly Bean with minute hiccups during transitional animations though, but app loading times as well as multitasking are carried out with decent speeds. Although it is pretty visible that the phone is not a speed demon, as the benchmark tests probably will show. Let's wait for quadrant to end and we'll see. The 3G version of the phone has 4 GB of internal memory, of which about 2 are user available, and the LTE one sports 8 GB of storage, of which 5 gigs are user available. Samsung has supplied 1 GB of RAM with the phone, and there's a micro SD slot for storage expansion on both versions. Let's see quadrant. Okay, we got 3,343 points on quadrant, which is a pretty low result for any standard. Granted, browsing on a 4-inch display is not as pleasant as on a 5 or even 6-incher, which are not a rarity these days, but the stock TouchWiz browser is quick to render pages and zooming is smooth. You can also display Adobe Flash content if needed, which is an advantage before the default Android browser Chrome. Other than that, we aren't present with anything out of the ordinary in terms of features. Just the usual set of tools like incognito mode, support for multiple windows, and playback of embedded YouTube videos. As we mentioned, the Ace 3 comes in two versions, one with LTE radio for the respective carriers that support this fast 4G standard, in addition to HSPA Plus download speeds up to 42 megabits per second, while the 3G version comes with 14.4 megabit per second radio only. The rest of the connectivity features for the 3G version are Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi Direct, Bluetooth 4.0, assisted GPS, FM radio with RDS, and that's about it. While the LTE variant we have here throws in NFC as well. The gallery, as usual, offers Samsung's split view mode that keeps your folders on the left and their content on the right here for easier access. You can also edit the photos with a bunch of enhancement options and color effects directly from the app itself, as usual with TouchWiz, but here the photo editor option has to be downloaded separately. Music playback is done via the TouchWiz stock player, which offers an abundance of sound modes and equalizer presets. As well as virtual surround sound modes, as you can hear. The loudspeaker is of average strength, but emits a comparatively clean sound, with no audible distortions towards the highest volume. That's the highest possible volume from the loudspeaker. Of course, it's now covered, so in reality it's stronger. The video player runs most major formats without a hitch, including MKV files, and at Full HD resolution at that. This is a Full HD Matroska format clip, as you can see, 1920 by 1080. And it runs without a problem on the Galaxy Ace 3. For some reason, however, although the phone supports MKV and XVAD, it doesn't support DivX files in any resolution, probably licensing issues. So if you want to play a DivX video file, you have to download a player from the Play Store. A 5 megapixel camera with LED flash is found on the back of the Galaxy Ace 3 with the new Nature UX camera interface accompanying it. The app offers a more limited number of shooting modes, which can be quickly picked from the carousel here on the right than Samsung's high-resolution phone cameras. There are no rich tone HDR capabilities, for example, but the best shot, night, sound and shot, panorama, these options are present, as well as the macro mode. The pictures themselves look pretty good for an unassuming camera, as was the case with the Galaxy Ace 2, for example. We wish there was some more detail in the pictures, but color representation is quite accurate, and the phone's auto setting capture does the scenes correctly, though there's some shadow clippings in high dynamic range situations. There are no white balance issues with the pictures, and the contrast is pumped up a notch by default, which yields pretty pleasant to look at results. The handset does video recording with 720p at 30 frames per second, which should be the bare minimum nowadays, and in that regard is the same as the 2012 predecessor. There are some artifacts present from time to time, but other than that, the video runs smooth with good amount of detail and accurate color presentation. That's outdoors though, with enough daylight, while low light and indoors video is extremely noisy. Of note should be that the microphone picks up audio with very good and clean volume while recording the footage. When Samsung slapped the slogan "Enjoy the new mobile essentials" on the Galaxy S3, it meant it. The phone is a very mild upgrade over its predecessor, the Ace 2, and only the LTE version offers more internal memory and a faster 4G radio, which will likely come at a heftier price though. And the price will ultimately be what determines the Ace 3 success, as besides the Samsung branding and the newest Android version, it doesn't offer much differentiation in the sea of humble mid-rangers. Thus, it better be priced lower than the last year Galaxy S3 Mini, for instance, since that one has very similar dimensions, but is more elegant and has more internal memory out of the box. Other direct competitors are LG's Optimus A5 with similar specs, but a slightly larger display, and the Sony Xperia P with the same screen size, but higher resolution and with more internal memory. If we look at the Windows Phone world as well, the Nokia Lumia 520 beckons in multiple colors with similar specs and a rock-bottom pricing. So to sum it up, the phone sports good picture quality from the 5-megapixel camera, pretty good call quality, especially in the earpiece, and the downsides are very noisy indoor video capture, and the handset feels a bit slow at times with this processor. This was a video review of the Samsung Galaxy S3 from Phone Arena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at phonearena.com.